Leadership theories. Leadership theories seek to explain how and why certain people become leaders. Such theories often focus on the characteristics of leaders, but some attempt to identify the behaviors that people can adopt to improve their own leadership abilities in different situations. Important theories of leadership. Number 1, Blake and Moton's managerial grid. Building on work of the researchers at these universities, Robert Blake and Jane Moton, 1960s, proposed a graphic portrayal of leadership styles through a managerial grid. The grid depicted two dimensions of leader behaviors: concern for people, accommodating people's needs and giving them priority on y-axis, and concern for production, keeping tight schedules on x-axis, with each dimension ranging from low 1 to high 9, thus creating 81 different positions in which the leader's style may fall.
The 5 resulting leadership styles are followed. Improvised management. Managers with this approach are low on both the dimension and exercise minimum effort to get the work done from subordinates. The leader has low concern for employee satisfaction and work deadlines, and as a result of disharmony and satisfaction, disorganization prevail within the organization. The leaders are termed effective, wherein their action is merely aimed at preserving job and seniority. Task management, also called dictatorial or Paris style. Her leaders are more concerned about production and have less concern for people. The style is based on the theory X of McGregor. The employees' needs are not taken care of and they are simply a means to an end. Middle of the road. This is basically an compromising style wherein the leader tries to maintain a balance between goals of company and the needs of people. The leader does not push the boundaries of achievement, resulting in average performance for organization. Here neither employee nor production needs are fully met. Country club. This is this is a collegial style characterized by low task and high people orientation, where the leaders gives truthful attention to the needs of people, thus providing them with a friendly and comfortable environment. The leader feels that such treatment with employees will lead to self-motivation and will find people working hard on their own. However, a low focus on tasks can hamper production and lead the question results. Team management, characterized by high people and task focus. The style is based on the theory Y of Mike McGregor, and has been termed as most effective style according to Blake and Moton. The leader feels that empowerment, commitment, trust, and respect are the key elements in creating a team atmosphere which will automatically result in high employee satisfaction and production.
Advantage of Blake and Mountain managerial grid. The managerial grid of leadership grid is used to help managers analyze their own leadership style through a technique known as a grid training. This is done by administering a questionnaire that helps managers identify how they stand with respect to their concern for production and people. The training is aimed at basically helping leaders reach to the ideal state of 9.9. Limitation of Blake and Newton managerial grid. The model ignores the importance of internal and external limits, matter and scenarios. Also, there are some more aspects of leadership that can be covered but are not. House, House Pantry Goal Theory. The theory was developed by Robert House and has a root of the expectancy theory of motivation. The theory is based on the premise that a employed perception and expectancies between his effort and performance is greatly affected by the leader's behavior. The leaders help group members in attaining reward by clarify the paths of the goals and removing obstacles to performance. They do so by providing the information, support, and other resources are required by employees to comply the task.
Directive. Here the leader provides guidelines. Let subordinates know what is expected of them. Set performance standards for them and controls behavior when performance standards are not met. Supportive. The leader is friendly toward subordinates and displays personal concern for their needs, welfare, and well-being. Style is the same as people-oriented leadership. Participative. The leader believes in group decision making and shares information with subordinates. He consults his subordinates on important decisions related to work, tasks, goals, and paths to resolve goals. Achievement oriented. The leader sets challenging goals and encourage employees to reach their peak performance. The leader believes that employees are responsible to accomplish challenging goals. This is the same as goal setting theory. The theory states that each of these style will be effective in some situation but not in the others. It further states that the relationship between a leader's style and effectiveness is dependent on the following variables. Employee characteristics. These include factors such as employees' needs, locus of control, experience, perceived ability, satisfaction, willingness to leave the organization, and anxiety. For example, if followers are high in ability, a directive style of leadership may be unnecessary. Instead, a supportive approach may be preferable. Characteristic of work environment. These include factors such as task structure and team dynamics that are outside the control of the employee. For example, for employees performing simple of routine tasks, a supportive style is much effective than a directive one. Similarly, the participative style work much better for non-routine tasks than routine ones. When teams cohesiveness is low, a supportive leadership style must be used whereas in a situation.
Are some people born to lead? If we look at the great leaders of the past, such as Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Queen Elizabeth I, and Abraham Lincoln, we will find that they do seem to differ from ordinary human beings in several aspects. The same applies to the contemporary leaders like George W. Bush and Mahatma Gandhi. They definitely possess high levels of ambition coupled with clear visions of precisely where they want to go. These leaders are cited as naturally great leaders born with a set of personal qualities that made them effective leaders. Even today, the belief that truly great leaders are born in common. The trait of leadership is based on the characteristics of many leaders, both successful and unsuccessful, and this and it is used to predict leadership effectiveness. The resulting list of traits are then compared to those of potential leaders to assess their likelihood of success or failure. Successful leaders definitely have interests, abilities, and personality traits that are different from those of the less effective leaders. These traits are not responsible solely to identify whether a person will be a successful leader or not, but they are essentially seen as preconditions that endow people with leadership potential.
Creating high-performance workforce has become increasingly important, and to do business, leaders must be able to inspire organizational members to go beyond their task requirements. As a result, new concepts of leadership have emerged, transformation leadership being one of them. Inspirational motivation. The foundation of transformation leadership is the promotion of consistent vision, mission, and set of values to the members. They work enthusiastically and optimistically to foster the spirit of teamwork and commitment. Intellectual simulation. Such leaders encourage their followers to be inno- innovative and creative. They encourage new ideas from their followers and never criticize them publicly for the mistakes committed by them. The leaders focus on the what is problems and do not focus on the blaming part of it. Idealized influence. They believe in the philosophy that a leader can influence followers on only when he practices what he preaches. The leaders act as role models that followers seek to emulate. Such leaders always win the trust and respect of their followers through their action. Individualized consideration. Leaders act as mentors to their followers and reward them for creativity and innovation. The followers are treated differently according to their talents and knowledge. They are empowered to make decisions and are always provided with the needed support to implement their decisions.
Continuum of leadership behavior. The leadership continuum was originally written in 1958 by Tenenbaum and Skimdit and was later updated in the year 1973. The continuum presents a range of action related to the degree of authority used by the manager and to the area of freedom available to non-managers in arriving the decisions. A broad range of leadership style have been depicted on the continuum between the extremes of autocratic and free reign. The left show a style where control is maintained by a managed, and the right side show a release of control. However, neither extreme is absolute, and authority and freedom are never without their limitations. The tenembium and schemid continuum can be related to Mac- MacGregor supposition in theory X and theory Y. Both container leadership toward theory X and subordinate container leadership and toward theory Y.
A manager is characterized according to degree of control that is maintained by him according to his approach. Four main styles of leadership have been identified. Tells the manager identifies a problem, chooses a decision, and announces this is subordinates. The subordinates are not a party to the decision making process, and the manager expect them to implement his decision as soon as possible. The, the decision is chosen by the manager only, but he understands that there will be some amount of resistance from those faced with the decision, and therefore making efforts to to persuade them to accept it. Two, the problem is identified by the manager. He does not take a final decision. The problem is presented to the subordinates, and the solution are suggested by the subordinates. The manager defines the limit within which the decision can be taken by the subordinates, and then make the final decision among with subordinates. According to the Tannenbaum and Smith, one has to make a choice of the leadership style which is practicable and desirable. Then his answer will be depend upon the following three factors. Forces in the manager. The behavior of a leader is influenced by his personality, background, knowledge, and experience. These forces include value system, confidence in subordinates, leadership, inclination, feeling of security in an uncertain situation.
Forces in the subordinate, the personality of the subordinates and their expectation from the leader influences their behavior. The factors include readiness to assume responsibility in decision making, degree of tolerance of ambiguity, interest in the problem and feelings as to its importance, strength of the needs for independence, knowledge and experience to deal with the problem, understanding and identification with the goals of the organization. If the factors are on a positive side, then more freedom can be allowed to the subordinate by the leader. Forces in the situation. The environmental and general situations also affect the leader's behavior. This includes factors like type of organization's group of effectiveness, nature of the problem, time pressure. Conclusion. According to the Tannenbaum and Smith, successful leaders know which behavior is the most appropriate at a particular time. They shape their behavior after a careful analysis of self, their subordinates, organization, and environmental factors.
Likert Management System. Francis Likert and his associates studied the patterns and styles of managers for 3 decades at the University of Michigan, USA, and identified a fourfold model of management system. The model was developed on the basis of a questionnaire administered to manager in over 200 organizations and research into the performance characteristic of different types of organization. The four system of management system or the four leadership styles identified by Likert are exploitative, authoritative, responsibility lies in the hands of the people at the upper echelons of the hierarchy. The superior has no trust and confidence in subordinates. The decisions are imposed on the subordinates and they do not feel free at all to discuss things about the job with their superior. System 2. Benevolent authoritative. The responsibility lies at the managerial levels but not at the lower levels of organizational hierarchy. System 3. Consultative responsibility is spread widely through the organization hierarchy. The superior has substantial but not complete confidence in subordinates. Some amount of discussion about job related things takes place between the superior and subordinates. System 4. Participative. Responsibility for achieving the organizational goals is whether spread throughout the organizational. There is a high level of confidence that the superior has in his subordinate. There is a high level of